Greetings to everyone watching live and everyone watching after the fact. This is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, here to drop a quick reminder to you guys. If any of you have a request for an anime review, whether it's a first impressions or if you're interested in more of a long-form anime review, become a patron at patreon.com/OAW. You can redeem a first impression style review via the Crunchyroller tier. But if you're looking for more longer form content, you can always hit up the Blockbuster tier. Drop me a message on Patreon. We'll chat and see about getting your review done. So once again, that is patreon.com/OAW. And with that being said, here is our review of the popular anime series, Jujutsu Kaisen. Let's get it started.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Greetings to everyone watching live and everyone watching after the fact. Shout out to the faithful and salute to the patrons. This is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief.
And Lieutenant in Arms, the cold-blooded.
Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms.
Sergeant at Arms. Sorry, Sergeant at
It's
Arms.
his second week on the job, people. Y'all gonna have to forgive him. It's his second week on the job. He's new to this.
I guess.
But anyway, we are here. Funny timing. Little tentpole programming for you all in anticipation for the upcoming theatrical film Jujutsu Kaisen 0. We are actually going to finally knock out the official OAW Reviews Jujutsu Kaisen anime review. This is a series that's actually been suggested as far back, I think, since what was it, 2020? I'm trying to remember how long ago it was. But originally it was one of the suggestions on the Super Chat sweepstakes wheel.
Really?
That that I used to do. Oh man, I gotta catch you up, Wayne. So one of the things I used to do with my monthly Q&As going back to last year was I used to have these wheels, and for every, I think it was, for every $5 super chat, you could suggest an item to go on the wheel. And I had one for like top fives, discussion of the weeks, anime reviews, movie reviews, all that jazz. Jujutsu Kaisen was one of the ones that was suggested by one of the faithful. And I don't think it was ever selected for me to review. But what ended up happening was I ended up picking up the series on my own and checking it out. And then after I finished it, I was like, well, at some point in time, I'm going to review it on the channel. So now here it is. I mean, it's perfect timing because the film's coming out next week. We can go ahead and we can knock this stuff out. Try to get some of the people caught up. For those of you all who may not have checked out the series yet, I mean, we got, 5 days before it drops? So hopefully we can get you started so that you can binge it in time to check it out when it drops this Friday.
Oh, definitely.
So what we're going to do is, like we always do, we're going to go ahead, we'll give you all a synopsis of the anime series. Then we'll go into more depth with our thoughts on the story, on the writing, on the characters, the animation, the music, things like that. If time permits, we will go ahead and answer some of you guys' questions and comments. But if you want to make sure that your question or comment gets read live on the air before we wrap up tonight, you can always drop a super chat. That we greatly appreciate it, and that greatly supports the channel. But if you want to support the channel but don't have the monetary ability to do so, you can always like this vid, thumb it up, share it on social media. That helps a lot. Share that link and smash that like button. We greatly appreciate it. So I'm going to throw things over to my man, the cold-blooded. Oh, and another thing too, you guys can read along with the synopsis. Just hit see more in the description box below. And shout out to my man, Dreezy KO. Yes, this will be, we'll start things off non-spoiler, and then we'll get into spoiler territory later in the review. But yeah, so right now, pass it over to my man, Wayne. And let's go with the synopsis.
All right, let's look at this synopsis right quick. Hidden in plain sight, an age-old conflict rages on. Supernatural monsters known as curses terrorize humanity from the shadows, and powerful humans known as Jujutsu sorcerers use mythical arts to exterminate them. When the high school student Yuuji Itadori finds a dried-up finger of the legendary Curse Sukuna Ryoumen, he suddenly finds himself joining this bloody conflict. Should I read this next part? Attacked by a curse, attracted to the finger's power, Yuji makes a reckless decision to protect himself, gaining the power to combat curses in the process, but also unwittingly unleashing the malicious Sukuna into the world once more. Though Yuji can control and confine Sukuna to his own body, the Jujutsu world classifies Yuji as a dangerous high-level curse who must be exterminated. Sorry. Detained and sentenced to death, Yuji meets Satoru Gojo, a teacher of Jujutsu High School, who explains that despite his imminent execution, there is an alternative for him. Sorry, being a rare vessel to Sukuna. If Yuji were to die, then Sukuna would perish too. Therefore, if Yuji were to consume the many other remnants of Sukuna, then Yuji's subsequent execution would truly eradicate the malicious demon. Taking up this chance to make the world safer and live his life for a little longer, Yuji enrolls in Jujutsu High, jumping headfirst into a harsh, unforgiving battlefield. Synopsis by Mal Rewrite of MyAnimeList.net.
Yeah, it was actually the best synopsis, the most succinct, but also like covers the whole like setup and conceit for the series in one. So yeah, shout out to them. Greatly appreciate that synopsis. You know, give credit. Got to give credit. Cite your sources, people. Cite your sources.
Cite your sources. That's right.
But yeah, that is in a nutshell what this story is about. Now, interestingly enough, because when you are actually current with the manga,
yep.
So I'm assuming have you read the chapters that the first season of the anime has already adapted?
Of course.
So it'll be real interesting getting your thoughts on the series, because you can actually compare and contrast the two since you've read the original source material and you see how they've adapted. I'm coming from it from a straight anime perspective. I'm not caught up on the manga at all. Another interesting thing too is I'm assuming you watch the anime in Japanese.
Yeah, of course.
See, I watched it in the dub.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes, I know, right? The heresy of it all, right? No, I watched the dub, so that'll be kind of interesting too once we get into the production side of things to be able to compare and contrast like the Japanese dub versus English dub. Because I saw the first 3 episodes in Japanese, and then I ended up switching to the English dub. It was totally by mistake. By mistake.
So you continue to watch it dubbed?
Yeah, because I like the voice cast.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out, man.
I like the voice. Sukuna's voice is really kick ass. Yeah. But anywho, we'll get into more discussions with that when we get into the production side of the review. But let's talk about the story. So real quick, in as much of I guess as succinctly as possible as you can, give us your general thoughts on like just the story, like, well, because we both it's no surprise. People can probably already tell at this point in time in the video, we both enjoy this anime series. So
yes, we do.
Why do you like it?
The reason why I like Jujutsu Kaisen is because it takes the standard shonen trope of anime and it just like it cuts it, slices it, and dices it, and changes it up in so many different ways. Villains are actually really villainous, right? Their motives stay hidden. The story is it's like I said, it's that same general formula for shonen trope, but it's told so well. The action is great. How would I put this? Every character has some type of development, and you can see it in the story. People aren't just left, oh, they're done with, they're not touched anymore. There's a bunch of character development for every character. And that's one of the things I like about it. Yuji as a character is very mysterious. They don't give too much away. there's so much to it. That's the reason why I like it when it comes to the music, animation, art style. It's a great anime, man.
Yeah, what ended up getting me into Jujutsu Kaisen, because what's funny about this, at first I had started, I started watching like the first few episodes and I couldn't really get into it. And I was talking with other people and they were telling me like, oh, it gets better and this is that and the other, but I'm accustomed to hearing that. So I don't really, I take that with a grain of salt whenever I hear that. And then eventually I did, pick it back up randomly and started rewatching again. And that's when I kept up with it. And for me, it's something that I've mentioned before, particularly like I brought it up when I reviewed Demon Slayer for the first time. Like I fell out of current anime kind of hard, because it just became stagnated, in my opinion. It became generic. It's the same old, and it's not necessarily any better than the material we had before. That's not to knock any one particular series or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, across the board, like the series I was able to enjoy, the real standouts were getting fewer and farther between,
Yeah.
And so I've always said this, I'm like, if in fact we're, when it comes down to, anime like that, manga like that, particularly in the shonen genre, I need one of two things. If you're not going to give me something completely new that I've never seen before, right? Give me a better version of something that already exists, or give me a new version of something we haven't seen in a very long time. And what Jujutsu Kaisen is a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So, but I would, for the sake of this review, and by comparison, because I brought up Demon Slayer, I said in Demon Slayer that Demon Slayer was a better Bleach, right?
Yeah.
So Demon Slayer is the better version of something that already exists.
Yeah.
What Jujutsu Kaisen is it is the reintroduction of something we haven't seen in a while. I'm gonna tell you exactly what Jujutsu Kaisen is, and I wish people would have explained this to me when I was trying to get into it. It is what happens if Yu Yu Hakusho and Naruto had a baby. That with a little bit of Bleach mixed on top.
Yeah, and that's why I remember telling you that I think it's just a better retelling of Bleach personally, but that actually sums it up. Like that actually puts it very well. Exactly what you just said. It's the truth.
Because if you think about it, what the Jujutsu sorcerers in this series are, they're the same as spirit detectives in Yu Yu Hakusho. The curses are the same as those are apparitions. And the Naruto element comes into it because you have a character who has a demon inhabiting his body. He's the host for a demon, the strongest one too.
Yeah.
Then there's the whole 4-man squad thing, and we have a mentor figure with silver/white hair who has an ocular ability. And he keeps his fucking eyes covered, right?
Yep.
And then but the other thing too is they're in a school. It's a school setting, so they are students now.
Which is the usual shonen thing sometimes too,
But if you really think about it, their occupation in that school, right? Because it's the school. So unlike Yu Yu Hakusho, where Yusuke and Kuwabara were school students, they are actually at that school for that profession, which is why I likened it to Naruto, because that's what they were doing. But at the end of the day, what are they doing? They're soldiers.
Yep.
They are children soldiers.
Because
the people who do this professionally both operate from or have graduated from said school. And so every time, every little mission, every little case, that's a life or death situation. This is what pass or fail.
The stakes are high.
Yeah, exactly. You're not getting demerits off of this. You see what I'm saying? Right. So you either come back with your shield or you come back on it. This is pretty much how this works. So that's why I say it's like Naruto in that sense. Because the Genin were still soldiers, right? But like you said, there are certain elements about the show and about the story that, again, if you're going to reintroduce us to something that we haven't seen in a while, you have to make it your own, right? So I would say it is much more graphic.
Yeah, it is.
I will say that, like you said, the villains are actually villainous.
Yeah,
They are
yeah,
sinister.
yep,
You do have the thing in Demon Slayer where it's like there is the question of nature,
yep,
like the nature of a curse,
yep. And
where
like,
they don't go ahead.
and like their purpose of why,
Hmm.
that sense of questioning, even like if they are kind of in a way good or bad, or their purpose of being a demon or curse or whatnot.
Yeah, like for me, what I took from it, particularly with the character of Mahito,
Hmm.
that we get introduced to later in season one, where at some point it's not as cut and dry as okay, these are the good guys and the curses are bad guys, because we later find out a lot of the curses, that's just their nature.
Yep,
They
it's
are
just
simply being what they are.
their
Um,
manifestations of things,
what
feelings, and
and
whatnot.
and and a lot like Demon Slayer, we learned that a lot of curses are actually man-made. Once again,
Hmm.
we create our own demons, we create our own monsters, and in this series,
Kind of,
unlike
yeah.
De- unlike Demon Slayer, where that's portrayed in those characters themselves becoming demons.
Yep.
In this series, curses are created. They can be created from a person unknowingly. They can be
Hmm.
created from like events like a murder or a suicide or something like that. Um,
If,
hell, didn't they establish that they can even be created just from like verbally cursing someone?
yeah, yep. It depends, but it depends on how much curse energy is put behind that curse, that verbal curse. Um, but yeah, that's right.
So yeah, but yeah, and then on top, so yeah, it is like I said. I'll just wrap this little bit up with that. It is Yu Yu Hakusho meets Naruto,
With a
and it does
sprinkle of
with a sprinkle of bleach,
bleach, yeah.
but it does what each one of those series does well. It does
Hmm.
as well, but it still manages to, like, in addition with that little bit of bleach, it still manages to have its own seasoning and its own flavor in there too, and it is refreshing.
It
Because
is.
it doesn't feel like another just generic knockoff.
Doesn't feel the same. That's right. I agree.
It feels like a natural sort of successor in the line of those other series. Like this feels like it was made by a guy who grew up reading Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, and he like Gege Akutami actually brings up the fact like he's read Bleach and he's a fan of Bleach and Naruto and all that stuff and that how it influenced him. He's actually like our age. If
Mm-hmm.
you didn't know that. So it's
No,
like
I didn't know how old he was. I
yeah,
figured he was young though.
yeah, he basically made what he was a fan of, but he just made it 10 times better. Like
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the story a little bit.
mhm.
Because there are a couple of things about the story to this. Not granted, we gonna go ahead and drop some spoilers for the anime. Do not drop spoilers for the manga.
Oh no. That's okay.
And
Yeah,
and
that's
I humbly request
easy.
that the
Not to do.
faithful watching in the comments, I humbly request that you do that you all adhere to the same. Like, we can go ahead and talk spoilers of the anime, but please refrain from dropping spoilers from the manga. If you want to talk manga, this man over here currently is reviewing the Jujutsu Kaisen manga chapters on a weekly basis. Please stop by his videos. That's where y'all can chop it up about the manga. But just in tonight, we just gonna talk about the anime. I got a couple of questions about it, and I guess we can just go just full fledged with it. These
Go.
are the concerns I've had about the series. So going off of that initial premise, that initial setup, right? Like whenever I run across a story like that where it's like, oh, it's the freak occurrence, right? Like Yuji
Hmm.
eating the finger, and now Sukuna's back and he's the vessel and all that type of jazz. I ask two things. First off, precedent. Has this
Hmm.
ever happened before?
Hmm.
Right? And then
Within the story, within the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay.
yeah, exactly. And then I mean, essentially, this was the same question I had You got beeping in your back. Okay. Essentially, this was the same question I had like watching Naruto for the first time. It's like, are there other tailed beasts? Are there other, this was before we learned about the Jinchuriki, because we don't learn about them until Shippuden, right? So same question, right? What's the precedent for something like this, right? And then the other thing too is plausible deniability, right? Suspension of disbelief. Certain things that characters do that if you think about it and you really start to analyze it and things of that nature, you can kind of poke holes in a lot of that logic. So just off the rip, because both of these things are related. This is where I'm going with this. Both of these things are related. The whole series is sort of predicated off of the sense that Yuuji is Sukuna's vessel.
Yes.
And that Gojo's plan is that he is allowing Yuuji to pretty much live long enough to absorb, to consume all of the fingers, so that essentially Sukuna will be back to full power. There won't be any other traces of his curse left. And then that is when they're going to use that as the opportunity in order to execute Yuuji, so that Sukuna is gone as well. There is a folly in that logic that I just cannot get over. And here's the folly.
What's the folly? I want to know.
Sukuna is the most powerful curse in the series. Yes or no? As of the anime.
I would say yes. Yes, he is.
Does Gojo know that?
Yeah. Yes.
Then what makes him think he'd actually be able to pull that off?
Because Gojo isn't the most powerful curse. Gojo is the most powerful Jujutsu sorcerer. And Tsukuna cannot defeat Gojo. I'm pretty sure you can't defeat Gojo.
Man up? You sure about that?
Nope. I'm 100% positive.
Okay.
That's why. Well, I don't know if I'm pretty sure they said it in the anime, but Tsukuna knows that who Gojo is, and he knows Gojo's like existence. It's there. So he's operating as if he knows what's going on. Sukuna knows what's going on. I'll put it like that. That's all. He knows. It's obvious. He's in Yuuji, but he's experiencing everything through Yuuji.
Because he's spoken with Megumi. He's had a conversation with Megumi. We know that. Hell, he remember when they used to do the hand thing with Sukuna. Like he was having conversations when Yuji's having conversations with other people. So like we know he's aware. I am not convinced, based off of what we know, what we learn about in the anime. I am not convinced that Gojo thinks he can actually pull that off.
How would I put this? So this is what I think, right? This is my speculation. I think Gojo has a suspicion about Yuuji as a sorcerer or a user of cursed energy in general. And I think he's going to, and this is not spoiler, this is just my like 2 cents from all the stuff that I've seen in the anime. He knows that Yuuji is like maybe the perfect vessel for Sukuna to contain Sukuna's power, and eventually, gradually as the story goes, Yuuji is going to learn how to control that. That's what I'm thinking.
We kind of get that whenever this is supposed, this plan that Gojo that he has, we know at some point he expects Yuuji to actually be a participant. Like he's going to need Yuji's help at some point.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because that's why he goes to the lengths that he does in order to train Yuuji. Because let's be honest, if it was just as simple as using Yuuji as a vessel, they could keep him locked up in that goddamn basement and just wheel him out whenever they come across a finger feed it to him, and then lock him back up. But no, but he's actually training him to be a proficient sorcerer. So it's like we know at some point he's going to enlist his help.
Yeah.
In that instance.
And that further proves like my theory. It's like if they want to, they could just roll him around, feed him the fingers, but they're teaching him and letting him learn these things through experience rather than sitting locked up in a room or in a cage or something like that.
And despite the higher ups, the administrators in the school being opposed to that, because they want Yuuji dead, like yesterday.
Yeah.
So Gojo is, so they're operating like that against the wishes of the administrators and stuff like that. But yeah, like some of the suspicions I have, I know that no doubt at some point in time later in the story, we'll kind of, get all of that explained and whatnot. But the fact still remains is it's an interesting enough launching point for whatever comes down, comes down the wire later on, particularly once we get introduced to more sorcerers, once we get introduced to more curses, and then of course once we get to the point where it's like, okay, Yuji's consumed enough of the fingers that it's like, okay, there's only so many left, and all right, so now we kind of have like I don't want to call it like a deadline. But there is that sort of impending, like, okay, like, there's only so many left, right? Which helps makes the story more interesting. All right, now I need a Gatorade break. So do you have any other thoughts on the story?
You said you had two things. You mentioned two things about the story. What were those two things? You said one, the motive, I think, or something. Precedent. Okay.
Precedent. So it's like how, what are the like has this ever happened with somebody else before?
Oh, that's what I want to run by you. So I mean, in the story, it's happened, but it's just that the curse's power wasn't. This is my thing, and this is one of the reasons why I say that Yuuji is this goes along with my theory of Yuuji being the perfect vessel. All these other cursed spirits intake this, this item, the cursed item, right? But they don't become vessels for Sukuna. They don't become a Sukuna thing that he can, talk through and live through and vibe through, right? So what ends up happening is they end up just getting more powerful. But usually he intakes it and he gets more powerful. But but Sukuna can actually talk and express himself through Yuuji sometimes. So it's happened before probably, and I'm not spoiling anything, by the way, but it's happened before probably. But just Sukuna hasn't probably had the best vessel at the time, or he could have. You never know.
I think they say I actually think it's in the second episode. Megumi actually, I think he does say that like people people have like tried consuming the fingers before, but they just fall, like they just get taken over by the curse takes them essentially, and they die or they become part of what that curse ends up becoming. Because remember, he thought that's what was going to happen to Yuuji. Because he tries to stop Yuuji from doing it. Because he's like, you'll just become another curse. So yeah, but I did have questions about that. And then of course, like I said, it's the precedent, and then it's also the pretty much like the eternal internal logic of characters and their motivations. That goes to the Gojo thing.
Yeah, I got that one. So.
Yeah, so I guess this would be a good time to start talking about characters then. So, see, I'll let you start that off. With your thoughts on the characters.
So one of the things I like about the characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, they all have their own niche, their own technique, and even some of them borrow some like basic things that are actually super powerful, like the Black Flash, et cetera, et cetera. Um, there's a lot of character development with each individual character, and each one of them has a meaningful story that you kind of care about.
Mhm.
Starting with Yuji's introduction, it's funny, and I'm gonna say this without spoiling anything. His introduction, his grandfather, that whole situation didn't sit well with me from like after I watched it maybe the third time. Because I was like, this is going kind of the sequence of everything was just very strange to me. And later on, you might think we will find out more about that later on in the anime. But usually as a character, I like how they don't put it out there straightforward that his physical prowess and his strength and everything is overpowering in the begin, not so much, but then you gradually start showing it with like episode one, they do it like it's not, how would I put it? They don't say, oh, he's all out the most powerful, etc. But they do show he has some type of uh, physical prowess that's like unhuman, maybe not unhuman, but a little bit surpassing human ability. Um, uh, my boy, who is it? Megumi Fushiguro,
Mhm.
great character. He's like the better Sasuke, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
exactly. Yeah.
Dude is just he has some stuff with him. And I like how those two characters have two different motives and their own philosophy when it comes to jujutsu sorcery as they go along. Gojo Satoru, man, he is OP, but I like how they say he's OP, so it leaves you like they just put him out there that he's OP, so it leaves you asking questions like, who's going to take this dude down? You know what I'm saying? And we cannot forget my girl, which is sad because I forget her
Noboro.
name. Huh?
Noboro.
Yep. She is a beast of a female character. The better Sakura. Like hands
She's a
down.
useful
Just
Sakura.
useful Sakura, yeah. Useful Orihime too. But yeah, that's just a
Yeah,
couple.
yeah, actually,
And then
yeah.
there's one more who I gotta mention. There's two more I think I should mention, and that's Maki. Uh Man, oh man, that's all I'm gonna say. That character development for Jujutsu Kaisen, character writing, character designing, everything, just thumbs up, man. The only person who I could say that I wish they would have did a little bit more with is Hanami. That's it, because that is a beast of a curse. My goodness. Anyway, that's all I have to say. If you want to take the floor now, but
Is Hanami, is that the
yeah, that's she's the jacked
oh yeah, I
Earth
forgot. Yeah, I forgot.
curse.
It's a female curse. I forgot that.
Yeah, man.
Cause yeah, cause she's supposed it's like Mother Earth. It's like a
Yep.
Mother Earth manifestation.
Yes, sir.
Um, I forgot that. At first, I thought that was a voice, but it's like no, because that's clearly what they're doing is the whole like Mother Earth thing. But not like another thing that like got me interested in the series was the characters, because again, another reason why I fell out of a lot of popular anime, particularly within the shonen genres, because the characters sucked.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like I cannot get invested in a series where I cannot get invested in your characters. And so that's why, like with Demon Slayer, I was kind of, impressed with that, because I was like, oh shit, like I actually like these characters. Same thing with Darwin's Game.
Yeah.
Darwin's Game shocked the shit out of me because I didn't think
Same.
I would get as invested with the characters that I did. But like with that series, like halfway through the hotel, the episode with the what was it, the florist.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my god, like I give a shit what happens to these people, right? And it's the same thing with Jujutsu Kaisen. Is like I actually care about the characters because oddly enough, they're just normal fucking kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have a an otherworldly profession, but like personality wise, they're normal fucking kids. And like they
Even
actually know how to like just chill. and they like just fucking hang out with each other and shit. Like those are like my favorite fucking moments in the series. Is like when they're just chilling, right?
Same.
Like when and I'm talking about like they don't even have to be doing any, like I'm talking about just the downtime. Like when they all go when Noburo's going shopping and they go with her, right?
Yep.
You know, and they're just walking the street, just shooting shit, talking, cracking jokes or whatever. You know, one of my favorite ones, and I gotta bring this up because it got to me. When Yuuji met what's my man name?
Junbei, yeah.
Junbei.
Yeah. Yep.
They hit it off.
Oh boy.
Because they both like movies.
That was a stat set, boy. That set up, boy.
And they were fans of the same movie. And I'm like, and the thing is, it's like, well, you know, that seems so easy. Dude, I'm just telling you from person. Wayne, how the fuck you think I met Bryce?
Yeah. Same way.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, dude, that's how I met my best friend. It was like, hey man, did you see someone's? Oh man, yeah. And then they go back to his house and they kicking in and then they stay up watching watching those movies and shit. I'm like, dude, like
we can relate.
Exactly. They're very relatable, you know, as like teenagers. Even fucking Maki and Noburo. The scene when I mean, granted, it's there for exposition because it's supposed because this is where we start learning about like Maki's like backstory and stuff, and this is when we learn about the rivalry with her sister. You'll remember this. It's the episode when they go to like the training field, right? When Maki starts training Noburo, but it's right before they start. It's like when they're walking out and she has the equipment bag. And that's when Noburo starts asking her, like, yo, what's up with your sister? But like, even though she's telling, you know, like the family story and, you know, setting up for the sibling rivalry and all that shit, like they're still like cracking jokes. And like, and they like, and how about this? Notice how they hit it off fucking immediately.
Yep.
Like they didn't try to make it like you know, oh, we're gonna have rivalry with these two and it's like, nope, they hit it off immediately. And even with like when we get introduced to Maki's sister. When we get introduced to Mai, even now, granted, it's because she was fucking with Noburo, right? So that's enough reason for Noburo to dislike her. But there's also like, yo, I'm gonna need you to lay up off my girl Maki. Like, I don't like the bad vibes you giving my girl Maki. That's my girl. So you got a problem with her, you're gonna have a problem with me. And it's like, you just fucking matter. Now it's not the most absurd friendship.
But I mean, it's a realistic. To be honest with you, that's a realistic thing coming from the South. Somebody jumping at somebody like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's true too.
The one who I can relate to the most is Toto. The way he makes friends, that dude.
Now Toto is the one. Toto is the one that's the most absurd when it comes to friendships.
Yep.
But the reason why it plays up so well for comedy, but it also still ties into what you were talking about how the characters are developed. Of course we know the absurdity of him and Yuuji becoming friends overnight, right? But from a narrative perspective and from a narrative standpoint, that's not how they actually became friends. They became friends during that fight.
Yeah,
fighting each other. And then Toto literally trains Yuuji on how to beat him.
How to use Black Fist,
Well, but what was the point, right? Like
Black Flash, my bad.
But what was the point? Like he's like, oh, this is someone of my ilk. This is someone of my kind. Like, and he knew Yuuji had it in him to pick up as fast as he did. That's why he bothered to teach him there like that in the first place. And now, of course, you know, because Toto is a badass where he might have known like there's no way he'll be able to pick this up fast enough to be able to beat me. But notice how quickly it's like during that fight, notice how quickly they went from, okay, we're going like all out. Well, Yuuji was going all out. We're going all out to try and beat each other. And then as soon as the threat showed up, bam, like tag team time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because at the end of the day, even though they belong to different campuses, they're still classmates.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And they're still fellow sorcerers.
But there's also another reason behind it, but that's speculation. But there's a lot of evidence behind what I want to say, but I'm not going to say it.
Is it speculation for the anime or still in the manga?
It's special speculation about the anime as well, because I think yeah.
So then you answer my question. It hasn't been answered in the manga yet.
In the manga, it hasn't been answered. Kind of. That's the best way I can put it. They keep giving these hints and these a lot of hints, and it's not. I'm not talking about like hints that we think are hints. I'm talking about like actual hints that he has something else going on with him, Yuji as a character, and it's kind of prevalent, you know.
Gotcha.
Like I'll put it like this: there's speculation he has a brother ability. I'll put it like that. That's the best way I can put it.
Oh,
without
you mean
spoiling
Kuro
anything.
does, or Yuji?
No. Yuji has one.
Is it that whole thing where it's like he has the ability to like attract people to him, sort of thing? Is it like
kind of like the speculation is that his curse technique, and this is the speculation by many of us Jujutsu Kaisen fans, is that he can imprint himself. He has a curse technique where he can imprint himself in people's life, and they feel as if they've been with him forever. Like
so it's not just Toto. It must happen with somebody else then.
And I'm pretty sure I think it's happened in the anime, and yeah, it's.
You know what though? Okay. So see now, okay. Part of me hopes that's not true, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because another one of those moments that I'm talking about, where that makes these characters so relatable and enjoyable, is after they believe Yuji's dead and Noburo is crying to Megumi. And at first, and she doesn't do it at first because she tries to put up the front. And because when he asked her about it, she was like, "What? I'm supposed to get upset over somebody I just met 2 weeks ago? Like the fuck?" And then she kind of turns her head, and you could tell she's upset. And Megumi knows, and he's like, "I know, I get it."
Yeah,
you know, and that's what I'm saying. It's like because she's right. It's like she only knew Yuji for like 2 weeks. Why is she gonna get all upset over him dying? It's like that's part, because she even says it. She's like, that is part of our job. Like that's the profession, right? But then notice she's still, because she's still fucking human.
Yeah.
And so she has that moment. I'm hoping that's like genuine, and that's not a question of him imprinting on her. Well, that's some Twilight shit.
Well, that's a totally different thing. That's a totally different thing.
Okay.
What it is with Yuji is the people who he does imprint on is, and this is just a theory, is that he imprints on them while battling them.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And the effects of that curse may develop during the battle or after the battle. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, that's starting to sound like a mechanic thing, like an actual technique.
And that's what I'm saying. That's it. That we're saying that everybody, we think that that's his jujutsu technique, his cursed technique.
There's also, I guess would that be considered his dominion?
Domain expansion?
Yeah. Would that be a form of domain expansion?
It's possible, or it could just be the same effect that Gojo Satoru's thing happens. Because Gojo doesn't have to have a domain expansion for his infinite eye technique to manifest. He can think and see and do things without creating a domain expansion. Even attacks that try to hit him or hurt him are repelled automatically. They can never reach him, and that's without him using his domain expansion. So maybe it's a ranged jujutsu technique or curse technique that Yuji has just through battle, and it's funny every time he uses the black flash, that happens. You'll see, it's weird, and it's happening.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like that's a technique that he's using that he doesn't know he has.
It's happened in anime twice, by the way.
How do we wait? How about this? How do we know it's Yuji doing it and not Tsukuna?
Because Tsukuna doesn't give a fuck. Excuse my language. He doesn't give a damn. He don't give a damn about that. That's the best way I could put it. He don't. But then again, you know what's crazy? This is manga related and relates to the anime as well. And I'm not spoiling anything. You brought that up. There was some sense of that what you just said in the Shibuya incident, and that's all I'm gonna say. That you got a point.
The Shibuya incident, is that the which?
That's the next arc.
Oh, it's the upcoming one. Okay, it's the very
Yep.
next one. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, but that's what like, yeah. So going back to the whole thing with the characters, it's like, yeah, like I said, like the characters are they're relatable, they're believable, with the exception, I will say no, actually, no, Maya is a little bit believable. She crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But when you find out what that's really about, it kind of makes a little bit more sense.
Yep.
She's still crazy.
There's also a little bit more to that backstory as well, and when you find out the more, you'll be like, oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely sounds like she suffers from a condition.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Maki as well, but she's trying. Maki,
yeah.
Maki's just trying to make the most of her situation, man. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's what she's trying to do. Yeah.
Dude, I even love what's my man name? The one who only talks in sushi type
Oh
sushi names.
Yeah. Or fish, yeah.
Oh, is it fish? I thought it was just sushi. Like
It's,
like
it's
he speaks
oh yeah,
in like the
it's
name of
fish.
sushi rolls.
Yeah, fish and sushi. That's right.
Yeah, like dude, even nah, that is a cool. He has a really cool motherfucking jujutsu like power, like
Technique, yeah.
that he does it through his speech. Like that
Wait till you watch the movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because yeah, he would be in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's the what is it? What are they, second years?
I think they're second years. I think they're now. So in the anime, they're second years. In the movie, I
In
think
the
they're
movie, they
first
be
years.
first years.
Yep.
Yeah. Because the movie's the prequel. That's right. Okay. So, anything else we want to? Okay. Well, all right. But before we wrap up characters, like I say, even with the like the villains, like Mahito, very interesting character. I will say he is probably the one that is like, oddly enough, he is the one that I do feel like I've seen before. Like we've seen characters with his sort of characterization before.
Yeah.
So he is the one that feels the most familiar, but he's still entertaining enough and intriguing enough for you to kind of want to follow along with him.
You know why I like him so much? It's the fact that he is powerful, and even the other other curses say that he. How would they put it? They know that he's powerful, but they say that the reason why he can't use his power so much is because he's fresh. He was actually just born or reincarnated, so he can't really do. And it shows in his immaturity, and how he uses his curse technique, and how he like starts to think of how he uses his techniques. He's a really, really good villain, man. I gotta say, bro.
Yeah. And then of course my favorite arguably my favorite. Actually, no, he probably is my favorite character in this series is Tsukuna. I fucking love Tsukuna. I love Tsukuna, dude. I love Tsukuna.
He don't give a damn.
I love Tsukuna. I like you said, like I love that, no fucks given attitude that he has. Tsukuna, like I believe that's the king of the demons because he acts like one. And like I said, dude, one of the most cold-blooded, not this is a spoiler for the anime, one of the most cold-blooded moments was in the fight against Mahito, when Mahito used his domain expansion, or he tried to use it. And then
it's not that he tried to use his domain expansion, he tried to manipulate Yuji's soul.
Okay, but I thought that's what his ability was.
Yeah, that's his ability. He tried to manipulate Yuji's soul to transfigurate him into something like Homeboy, the young kid who he Fuck, I mean, messed
Yeah,
up. Excuse me. Sorry.
and it was funny because or wait, do I have it backwards? It's like he tried when he tried his domain expansion was when he got the first whiff of Sukuna, and Sukuna's like, you don't want none of this. Bye.
No, what it
And then
was he tried to touch his soul, and once
Mhm.
he saw inside Yuji's soul that there was someone else there, and then once he found out that it was Sukuna, Sukuna was like, "Don't
Yeah,
touch me."
right. But then Mahido did something again. He did it twice. Because the second time, because when Sukuna appeared the second time, he was like, I told you.
Oh yeah,
Step
yeah, yeah.
off.
Yep, yeah. I know what you're talking. I know the moment you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, and he was like, I told you. You didn't want none of this. And that's pretty much how they beat Mahido in that fight.
yeah. That's
But
how Yuji got through the. Yeah,
yeah,
supposedly.
but
Uh,
yeah, dude. But that was, oh my god, oh dude, Sukuna is so gangster. I love Sukuna. Yeah, Sukuna straight savage with it. That's my dog.
yeah, I would say my favorite villain during
No,
those
that's my favorite
arcs.
character. Period. Not just
Oh,
villain.
that's your favorite cat. That's your
That's
favorite
my
character.
favorite
Period.
character. Yeah.
Oh, my favorite character. He ain't. Oh, actually, no. My favorite character in the anime was Nanami. I love that dude, man. I could man. I can relate so much. The plight of the Japanese businessman working. What is the
Oh
purpose and
yeah.
why? And like I felt that, man. I felt it. And being an adult, oh man, it was so good.
I
He
don't
was
know.
so good.
Nanami just. I mean,
He wasn't the best, and he wasn't the grandest, but he did. How would I put it? He did he did what he could with what he had, and he made
Nanami,
it work.
to me, Nanami came on again to use a Naruto sort of analogy or comparison. Like he was a lot like he reminded me a lot of Nagato.
Yeah.
It's like he's pretty much helping out Kakashi, and it's like, yeah, the mission ended up taking a turn he didn't expect. It was a bigger job than he thought. And he's just kind of like,
Mhm.
oh, god
We
damn it,
undo
and I
this
just knocked
ties.
off fucking work too.
Overtime.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah.
Wrap
He was
that
like,
towel.
oh,
Pooh.
time to clock in overtime. It's like, I hate this shit, man. Can't have no damn weekends. Gotta go into the office. That
Messing
mandatory
around with these
overtime.
kids.
It's like that mandatory overtime bullshit.
Shoot. Yeah, man. He was legit, man. Well, is legit.
um,
I don't want to say nothing else.
Let me see what else did I wanted to touch on. Well, I mean, like, do you actually? No, I have it in the synopsis. Who's the studio that did it? Because the animation's spot on. Like,
I think it's you. Is it you foldable?
no,
Maybe not you, or maybe it's
Mappa.
Mappa. Maybe
Yeah,
so.
it's Mappa.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, dude, the animation spot on. Particularly another Naruto comparison, like during
Hmm.
the fight scenes,
Hmm.
they go. I mean, granted, it's not as big a contrast as like what we saw in Naruto and in Shippuden with
Hmm.
the fluid style of
Hmm.
animation. It's not that big of a contrast, but it is there. Like they do have that. Yeah, because the fight scenes are like very fluid, much like because you brought up Ufotable, much like Demon Slayer, they do the whole cinematic cameras, like the
Hmm.
cinematic shots. Like I was watching the fight earlier with Noburo and Oh Girl, the one on the broomstick,
Hmm.
and yeah, and it's I mean essentially it's a chase throughout a forest, but like the whole time they're fighting, and one's flying, old girl's flying away from Noburo, and she's trying to chase her down on foot. Like that camera is rotating around and is zooming out and then it's zooming in, and we get to see their expressions and stuff like that. And it gives off the motion. It shows you the
Hmm.
motion of the action the whole
Yeah.
time. The whole time we're in motion. And they did the same thing with when Yuji and Toto fought what's the
When
name?
Hanami.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
There was a lot of weight behind everything too.
And that's when we started getting like the sketchy sort of like I mean, dude, that's when they started trying to recreate the freaking the manga panels. That's when we start switching to like the black and white with the heavy blacks.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, I guess that's what Black Flash actually is, right? Because everything goes black and white when he does it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like straight off of the out of the manga panel. So yeah, so like the animation's top notch.
Yeah, most definitely. It's kind of one of the things that had me like still watching as well, just trying to see what happens next and comparing that to the to the manga. And they executed the manga panels and the action in the manga very well. Like I was waiting and looking forward to watching that in movement. So yeah, it's pretty nice.
And then that brings us to the music portion. Now, I'm gonna tell you this, dude. I actually still am not a fan of the music that they use for Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm-hmm.
The only one I actually really like is that first closing, like that first ending theme. The rest of them are kind of hit or miss.
The first opener was good. I would say it was good, but it wasn't. It was all right. The second opening, I was listening to that in the subway going home, and I was watching the opening. I was so hyped. This is a subway in Japan, and it's quiet. I'm like, I was like, man, this is season. Is this the part 2 of season 1, man? I was just, man, I was so, it had me hyped. It had me hyped because I read kind of what was going on in the manga, and I saw a couple of elements. So it kind of, the song, the music, and the animation kind of just paired so well, and I was just like, oh, this is gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I love it.
Nah,
now
man. I love the instrumental of it, but oh boy's vocals when he gets to that chorus, like he sounds like he went full falsetto. Like he sounds like he's singing out of his nose, man.
I don't know, man. I liked it. I because to me, it like there's a skill to sing what he's saying in the like that, man. It's good. To me, it's good. I don't know. The guitar riffs, everything. I just like it. And Nobora's and Yuji's battle with the brothers.
Yeah.
That music was
I dug
notch.
that. I dug that. Yeah, no, most of the music in the actual, like in the episodes, like the background music and stuff like that, I dig. I like that. Like it's on point. It's on point. I'm like musically speaking, I'm only critical about like the opening and closing themes. The intros and the outros. But like I said, that first closing theme, like I dig that one. And the animation for it was cool too. Yeah.
Lost in paradise.
Yeah. Every time my favorite part is when Gojo's part, when he go ooh, 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 and he goes and he starts dancing, he's swinging,
dancing like that. Yeah. Like, get it, guys, get it.
I was like, go ahead. Oh, yeah. Fun times. All right. So, I mean, that for the most part, because we are coming up on an hour too, getting ready to wrap this up. I mean, for the most part, that does wrap up like our thoughts on the series, I think. Here's the funny thing about that though. I kind of wanted. You've already read chapter 0 though. You know what the film's gonna be about, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So for those who may not know, in case this review is like the first like Jujutsu Kaisen related content that you might have seen or anything like that. Essentially, what the movie is, it's called Jujutsu Kaisen 0 because it's chapter 0 of the manga. Because this is the story that was the initial one shot before it got picked up for full serialized publication.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's the main character is a character that actually hasn't been introduced in the main anime yet.
He has. He has. He hasn't had a full introduction.
He hasn't appeared, but he's been mentioned because he's one of the.
He did appear. He appeared twice in the intro and in an episode, but it was like they mentioned him, and then they showed him with another character named Miguel, and then they panned away. Like they showed him looking back, and then they panned away.
Gotcha. I'm trying to remember the character's name. What is his name?
Yuta.
What?
Yuta. Okotsu. Yuta.
Okotsu. There you go. But Yuta is good, man. Yuta. But he's one of the upperclassmen. Because what's he, a third year?
He's a second year, just like Panda and Maki and Toto.
I thought he was the class. I thought he was the class ahead of them.
No, he's just a how would I put this? He's an unknown grade or something like that. Like he's like just superior to them. Put it like that. Like he's basically what Gojo is. Special grade sorcerer. Special.
Yeah.
Like
So he gets the assignments that the upperclassmen normally get.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that's kind of odd too, because it's like because one, it's not a complaint because it provides for the story, but I call bullshit on the fact that like Yuji and his team get so many fucking assignments that it's like, dude, like fucking full-fledged sorcerers should be doing those, and they got first years doing, and that is some bullshit. But it provides good drama for the story. But but essentially, the film, which is the prequel to the main series, is going to be Yuta's story about how he first enrolled at the school, right? And like all the events that led to it.
Yeah, Yuta's first enrollment into Jujutsu High School. Yeah. Right.
And then which is perfect because doesn't he come like into the series like full blown in the next story arc for the one that season 2 would be?
Nope.
It's the one after that? It's two story arcs?
After the Shibuya incident. So someone said the Gojo arc and the Shibuya incident arc. Now the Shibuya incident arc, that's all one arc. When Gojo gets what happens to him, I'm not gonna say, and then what happens in Shibuya, that's all one thing. But Yuta is not going to be involved in any of that until it's the next arc after that.
It's the one after that one.
Yeah, that's right.
So okay, to run me this, because I don't did we get like an official episode order for season 2?
I have no clue.
Because I would assume so here's another thing about this series. We didn't touch on it when we were talking about the story, but this, much like Demon Slayer, it's very fast paced. Like they get through the story arcs really, really damn fast.
Well, how would I put this? For the Shibuya incident, I think they have enough content to last a whole season.
A whole season? Okay, yeah. That's what my question was going to be. Like
they got some stuff.
Okay, so they can stretch. So what we thought 13 episodes?
Probably so. Could be more.
Because if they do a 26 order, that's only half.
I think they can do 30. I think they can do it in 13. Yeah, they can do it in 13.
But yeah, but anywho, so that's essentially what the film is going to be about, is introducing that character and like his story.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I forgot. My bad. That's right. LM, you are absolutely correct. The history arc. I wouldn't call it the history arc. I would call it the past, like an explanation of. Yeah, that would come first, and then the Shibuya incident. But
and then that is season 2 then.
Yeah, I'm thinking, but I have a strange feeling they're not gonna. I don't think season 2 would be just the whole history, or the whole like the history arc, or the Gojo arc, because that that felt that whole part felt like a one shot in itself, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't think that would be just season. It would have to be the history and then the Shibuya incident. It would have to.
For season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Now that sounds like a full season. Yeah. So well then tell me this then. And I'm wondering if you can do this, and we'll close out on this.
Mhm.
Is there anything for like a new Jujutsu Kaisen like perspective viewer or perspective reader? If you could tease the movie in any way, what would you tell that person?
I would tell that person that you're going to see some things and get some terms and a lot of character like backstory on certain characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, and you're going to see some of them kind of, even the first years, I would say, kind of going all out in it to an extent. And you're going to see, how would I put this? You're going to see some stuff that will make you understand why Yuta is who he is. Meaning like the big dog, that type of thing. It's not going to be a story where how would I put it? It's not your usual Jujutsu Kaisen story. I'll put it like that. It's similar, and you're going to see some similarities, but it's going to be different. I'll put it like that. You're going to find out some things, some information, and you're going to. I think you guys will enjoy it. I'm going to see it.
Is it safe to assume, because I've been trying to like avoid talking about, because I don't want to pretty much give the movie this tag without seeing it first, but it's like, why do I get the sense like that movie's trying to pull on my emotional heartstrings?
Oh yeah. I don't want to say nothing about that
because Demon Slayer is notorious for that. Demon Slayer is like, we're trying to make you cry.
Yes.
And I'm like, no. But this one, like, from the poster, it's like, you are going to cry.
I read the manga and I teared up because I was like, it's good. It's good. So
I will not, sir. I will not. I will not. Even though I did tear up during watching Demon Slayer, but not the movie, the series.
Yeah, episode what episode it was? I forget. The one that shook the internet. That one. That episode.
Oh, was that 19?
Yeah, episode. I think it's episode 19.
Yeah.
I cried that one, and when Yuji was trying, not Yuji. That's sad. What's my boy name, man?
Tanjiro.
Tanjiro. Yeah, Tanjiro. When he was training, yeah, man, that was good. Really good.
Now, the part that got me was when he found the demon in the forest that was responsible for killing the other kids.
Yeah.
Because he was collecting their masks.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the part that got me. Well, and the boulder, the fucking episode with the boulder, of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about when he was training.
Yeah,
I didn't want to say too much, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, any final thoughts on this series?
Anything? Let us know.
No, I'm talking about you.
Oh, me? Okay. Any final thoughts, man? Watch Jujutsu Kaisen, man. It's a blast. And you have much more content to look forward to from this anime. Pray for Gege Akutami, the author. He is he's not feeling too well. As a lot of the manga, they work too hard. They do, So let's keep him. Keep him in our prayers and our thoughts and all that stuff. Write him a letter, something. But yeah, please watch it and go check out the movie.
Yeah, and I would same thing. I would say I highly recommend it. It has the OAW stamp of approval. As I mentioned before, multiple times throughout this review, if you like Yu Yu Hakusho, if you like Bleach, if you like the more supernatural themed like shonen fare, this is right up your alley. Like smack dab right up your alley. So yeah, so like what's Soul Eater? Because this series reminds me a lot of Soul Eater too. Stylistically speaking, like if you're a fan of that one, yeah, like this should be on your list at some point. I recommend it. Check it out. Pretty cool. All right, so usually we would make an announcement about other vids we had coming up, but actually it might be a little bit too early for that.
Yeah. Well, right now, there will be, if I can interrupt right quick, there
Yeah,
will
go
be
ahead.
no Jujutsu blah. I got tongue tied. There will be no Jujutsu Kaisen manga review because Gege Akutami, the mangaka of Jujutsu Kaisen, is taking a break this week for health reasons. So no chapter. As of now, there's no chapter.
Yeah, and I'll be back later in the week with top 5 again. I'm not sure what days, because actually my schedule just changed recently, which may free me up in the earlier in the week as opposed to waiting for the weekend. But just keep an eye out because I'll schedule those in advance so you guys know when they're coming. It's possible I might actually be able to get to those sooner than this weekend.
Also, we have the cold-blooded J&J show. We'll call it the show this Thursday. Larry, will you be there?
Thursday, I might be. Yeah,
Okay, Thursday, 6 o'clock. Yep.
I might be.
We'll be talking. We'll be talking about a couple of subjects, a couple of things. We'll keep you guys posted.
Gotcha. And then so the plan is, as of right now, we will be back right here next Sunday to do the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie review. Did you get your tickets yet?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm purchasing them today.
Yeah,
So I just got back. I just got back from my my friend's bachelor party thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I might order mine either today or tomorrow because when I check, so like the theater I'm looking at only has 2 showings. Because I want to do the dub, right? They only got 2 for the dub, and on Saturday that sucker already has some seats missing. I don't know about Sunday though, but the plan is we'll be back here next Sunday night to do the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero review.
So definitely.
All right. So with that being said, it's time for us to get out here. Thanks everyone for watching live. Thanks everyone for watching after the fact. As always, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. All of our social media links are in the description box below. And last but certainly not least, if you have yet to do so, if you have a series you would like, an anime that you would like to see reviewed here on OAW Entertainment, become a patron at patreon.com/OAW. All right, so time for us to get out here. And with that being said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief.
The cold-blooded Sergeant-in-Arms.
And we are out of here. Until next time, peace.
Peace.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?